Good afternoon. This is Brad Weber with Local Umbrella Media, and we are here at the beautiful IQ Podcast Studios in beautiful Coronado with Local Umbrella Live. I have a very, very special guest with me today. Name's Vick Vanucci. Did I pronounce that correctly? With
Vick
Pachamama.
Vanucci, yes.
Vanucci. With Pachamama in the Normal Heights, Kensington area of San Diego. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank
Really
you for
appreciate it.
inviting me, Brad. It's a
Oh, well, I've
pleasure
got a
to be
little bit,
here.
I'm kind of disappointed in you today, but it's for a good reason. Vic was going to come, you were going to come over and bring tacos, and we were going to share some food here, but took over. Someone couldn't make it today, so you're covering. So I appreciate you even being here with us and taking the time out. So
Thank you for your
we're
understanding. But I
really
promise I
happy.
will take you some empanadas and tacos, guys. Don't
I'm
worry.
sure
One
you
day
will.
I will
Well,
go and I will deliver my amazing food.
I'll make a note. So we got a couple different things to talk about. One thing is that your amazing restaurant and the food and the atmosphere. I lived about 3 blocks from there, and I met you when you did your soft opening about 2 years ago in 2009. She has customers coming in, or you have customers, so we're going to deal with that. We know this situation, no problem. But anyway, I went to your soft opening, and I moved. I wasn't living in the area anymore, so I didn't come back, and so I hadn't been back. And one day you called me and not too long ago and said, Brad, I get the newspaper and I would like to be, I want to tell my story. I have a story to tell. And I kind of knew some of the background we'll talk about today. So we met and you told me your story, and it was an amazing story. And I thought you deserved to tell it. So that's how we got together. Just last week on Saturday, this Kensington paper that we do with your beautiful, whoops, I'm sorry. Excuse me, everyone, with your beautiful picture on the front and a beautiful article inside. A lot of our readers and listeners have seen it, but if you haven't, it's available online, and you can always go to Pachamama, and we'll tell you how to get there later. So I'm going to let you talk. So tell us a little bit about um, Pachamama and what the whole concept of this is.
Yes, first of all, Brad, I want to say publicly thank you. Thank you especially to you because not just pick up the phone, also you are helping me to tell my story,
Yes.
and that's very important for me. It's like a huge thing for me. So I'm
Good.
forever grateful, and you are doing an amazing job. So thank you.
Well, thank you. And maybe we should go into a little bit of why you wanted to tell your story, because, please correct me if I'm wrong, because I think I understand the whole thing from top to bottom. We wrote your story, so I got familiar with you and your story. And kind of what happened is you you were a tennis pro in Argentina, correct? In your late teens, and you're obviously a beautiful woman. You're a tennis pro. You're
Thank you.
living the jet set life, and you got married, correct? And you kind of hung out with the jet setters and went overseas and took some photos that came back to kind of haunt you. We'll just leave it at that, and people can look
More
into
or
it
less.
more
More
or
or
less.
less. But
You
let
want
me
to,
tell you, I will resume the story. 12 years ago, because this story has 12 years, okay? It's
okay,
very old. 12 years ago, I was on my 20s, super
right,
young, and I wasn't aware. I need to be super honest. I wasn't aware. I was young. I was very energetic, very young, right?
right.
And at that moment I have my fiance, and he invited me for a trip. I I was born in a not in a poverty, but in a humble place.
Right.
So for me, it was my first time going to these places, and it was something amazing for me being able to travel. So he took me to Africa, and many families, especially in South America, but also in Europa, is very common that they hunt. As a
Mhm.
tradition, they hunt. And of course, it was my first time watching this episode, and that episode changed my life completely. I mean, completely, mentally,
Right.
in every sense. I was very famous at that moment, and the picture was public, and it generated a lot of course, uh, bad comments because I mean it's disgusting seeing someone making hunting for
Yeah.
sport. I think it's disgusting, and I didn't kill anything in my life. I can't believe me. I can't do that, but I was present in that picture,
Right.
and that moment was a huge moment because it changed my life in every sense. I changed as a woman. I changed my profession as well, because at that
Yeah.
moment of my life, I was very famous, and I feel like as a celebrity, you have a responsibility, a social responsibility, right? And I wasn't happy with myself, because
Right.
not just the picture. I went into a huge depression for 4 years and a half of my life, because that episode start in my mind asking myself question: how come you weren't aware? I mean, how come big you didn't know about all of these things? For example, one thing take me to another, Brad, and I start noticing how bad informed I was. Maybe because I was young, I don't know, but I start informing myself, and I start seeing that not just the animal welfare is
Mhm.
super important. Also, the plastic in the planet, the use of water, how we consume water, many other things that I wasn't aware in my past before.
Right.
So one thing take me to another. I went into this big depression that actually I'm very grateful, because thanks to that depression, I can come back and I build Pachamama, and I have a mission in my life, and I have a meaning in my life, and I can give a good example to my kids. I can build awareness. For example,
Yep.
just now I came from Adams Avenue Elementary School, and for me, that filled my heart, Brad,
Yeah.
because being able to build an organic garden for kids, because kids
Right.
are our future, uh,
Great.
is
Well, we're
everything
going
to
to
me.
talk a little bit more about what you're doing at Adams Elementary. So I think in general, we all have lives. We all make
Exactly.
mistakes. I'm not going to take sides here because people are, but all I know is, number one, I was 20 once and I lived in a bubble too, and I did not have any worldly knowledge. I lived in a bubble. I went to college. I started partying, doing lots of stuff, and believe me, if I had cameras then, I, you know, I wouldn't be around, you know.
That's
But
the difference,
so I'm
right?
not
When
I'm
you're a
not
public
discounting
person.
or taking sides. And we had an incident recently over here in Coronado that people jumped to judgments, and I still don't know what came, but there was a basketball team over here that won the championship, and after the game, the tortillas were thrown. And immediately people started jumping on the bandwagon saying, these people are at fault. We got to bury these people. We got to ruin these people. We got to take their jobs. We got to take the championship from the kids. And nobody really knew what the story was. It's not the old days where it was innocent until proven guilty. Social media and lots of other things have changed that, where people immediately jump to judgment. And I still don't honestly, because I don't live in Coronado, know what happened, but I know the story's been evolved to it's not what people thought it was. The bad people aren't necessarily the bad people. The kids aren't necessarily the bad people. So that brings me back to you. And obviously you made a big mistake. Nobody can, not too many
Yeah.
people would say, yeah, it was okay what you did. But again, you
No,
were, as you
it's
said, you were
is
young, you
is
lived in a bubble. This was your world. And until you see someone else's world and step out of your own, you just got to put it in perspective. So I just think people do need to give another person a chance. And whether it's a born again Christian that had a terrible life and found Jesus, a person like you that said, "Hey, I was bad. I'm going to change my life." Addiction, you do some terrible things when you're an addict, but people recover from that. And even prison, you reform yourself. So uh, it's not judgment for life; it's judgment for that part of your life. And unless you say, "Hey, I'm okay. I shouldn't be ashamed of that, or I shouldn't change," that's different from, it seems to me, just my opinion, what you're doing, and you're trying to make up for it. You're trying to say, wow, was I living this path, and I'm going to choose a new path. And we can talk about some of those things, including what you're doing with Pachamama, but also what you're doing with the kids at Adams Elementary. I want to talk a little bit about the bees and all that stuff. So I think, we can kind of, get past that and let's talk about the present. And you're a changed person, right? I mean,
yes.
uh,
But let me add something, because you said something
please.
so important, and we have many people listening to this, and I think we can help in many ways, telling stories. I feel that when we make mistakes, it's part of our life also making mistakes, because precisely from those mistakes we are able to learn. And
Right.
in my case, the mistake of being present in a picture, in that awful picture, was enough for me to realize how bad that mistake was,
Mhm.
and what are the things that I need to make in my life to not just overcome, also redeem myself from this, make something good from this, because
Right.
I have kids and I have to give a good example to my kids, and not to my
Right.
kids as a citizen. I need to give a good example to my community. And I feel like we need to understand that as humans. We need to understand that when someone make a mistake, the important part of that mistake is that you need to learn from those mistakes, and you
Right.
need to move forward, and you need to make something good from that. And I feel that's myself, at least it's myself, and I'm trying to do something good here, and
Good.
I feel that I'm doing it. And it's like you said, sometimes we have this judgment. It's like a cloud, that surround my life constantly because of
Mhm.
this picture. And I understand when people have this type of judgment, because okay, they see a picture, but I am
Mhm.
not a picture. I am more than a picture, and I am a
Right.
mother, and I am a business lady, and I am an immigrant lady trying to do a business in the US. Believe me, it's hard, especially in a
Yes.
global pandemic. Plus the judgment is a lot. But
Yeah.
I want to ask people to maybe to breathe a little bit more and try to understand the human that we have in front, instead of always try to judge, you know?
Yes.
Instead of judging so much, let's try to know the person behind. Let's try to see what the person is trying to do, also to amend this mistake, because the best part is you need to amend those mistakes, and I
Right.
feel I'm doing a great job amending those mistakes. So instead of
Yeah.
looking at a picture that has 12 years ago, try to focus on the work that we are doing as a restaurant, how many things we are giving to the community, and how sorry in my heart I am for that
Right.
picture.
Yeah. And 12 years ago doesn't sound like a lot of time, but in the way our world progresses, even 12 years ago, the information, uh, when you're that age, you weren't as aware as now. And, now there's all those tools. Kids grow up and they have all this information. They don't live in a bubble. They have all this information they can gather. And when they're 20 now is a lot different. Believe me, a lot different. I'm a lot older than you. And when I was 20, I knew nothing basically about the world.
But
Um,
you know what,
even
Brad?
Mhm.
Those pictures are part of my life, and they
Yes,
will always be a part of my life, because thanks to that picture I built this mission. Thanks to that
exactly.
picture I'm the woman that I am, and I am
Yep.
not ashamed, because I feel like people sometimes think I am ashamed for the picture. Of course I regret that moment, but at the same
Right.
time I'm grateful to that moment. But hear
Exactly.
me
And
out.
that makes so
Here
much
in
sense.
Pachamama, I talk openly about it. In
Yes.
television, I talk openly about it, because I feel it's part of my life, guys. Those
You
pictures will always be with me, will always live with me, and they mark something in my life. And
right.
this is me. This is who I am, and I own myself, and I own that picture. And yeah, we are doing this. We are doing this mission with the picture here to remind me to always do good.
Yeah. Well, it makes so much sense. I mean, there's so many examples of out there, whether, people that have accidents and they're paralyzed or terrible things happen to them, and they really say from a true sense, it's the best thing that ever happened to me
Yeah,
because it sounds tragic, but it changed my life. So this is a
honestly.
terrible thing that happened to cause you a lot of pain. That's how you grow, right? And you've grown a lot. And I just, I'm on your side certainly to where people should get the facts, you know, maybe a little forgiveness is never a bad thing.
We need
We're
to
none
give
of us
them
are
time,
perfect.
I think.
Yeah,
Time
and
to heal, no?
got it. And, look in the mirror every morning before you start going and throwing stones at other people, and we are all human. That's why we have redemption and forgiveness and all those great things. So, anyway, I really want to talk about your great food because Pachamama, I knew the location because I lived there, and it was a coffee shop. I think it was Cafe Cairo or
Cafe
something.
Cabaret.
Cabaret, yes, and I'd walk in there, and I always thought, "This could be so much more." It's such a cool location, and it was
Amazing
nice people.
corner.
What's that?
An amazing corner.
An amazing corner
Huge,
right on
yeah.
Adams Avenue, lots of traffic, and the signage and things that you put up. I was so excited to see what you did with it because I'm really a big advocate and always have been of local independent businesses. So I was so afraid it was going to be a, a chain restaurant or something else.
Mm.
And so, and your soft opening, you were so friendly and it was such a good vibe and the food was good. And I thought, wow, this is gonna be a huge success. So I was very disappointed, as I told you, when I started hearing all this stuff, and it's like, gosh, that's not the person I met. So I'm glad you gave me an opportunity to see the other side of the story. But I want to talk about the food. What caused you to come up with the name Pachamama? I know it means Mother Earth, if I'm not familiar or not.
Pachamama means Mother Earth in Quechua, and it's a Peruvian Japanese fusion. Eh,
Okay.
the right name for my food, for my type of food, is Nikkei. It's a
Nikkei?
very Nikkei. Nikkei. Nikkei is the combination of Japan and Peru, and those two food is so powerful together, brother. And that's why our
Japan and
menu.
I'm going to repeat a few things you say because you have a beautiful accent, but I
Oh,
want to make sure people. So Japan and Peru. I want to make sure I'm understand. Okay, go
yes,
ahead.
it's from Japan and Peru. It's a mix, and it's super powerful mix. And till now, our customer love our food. I think you try my tacos. Tacos Revolution are
Oh,
the
your
best
tacos are
tacos in town.
amazing,
Yeah.
and they're definitely unique. Yeah, it's not your average taco. Yeah,
Yeah, we have a lot of varieties in our menu. Eh, Empanadas, tenemos saltadito, the typical saltadito peruano.
hmm
We have the salmon teriyaki. We focus on health, healthy food. Because
right.
I don't know if you know, Brad, but I have my own garden. It's a big garden. I used to have my chickens, but now I don't have my chickens, so I can't keep saying that I have a farm because it's not actually a farm. It's a big garden in which when I let me explain this because I try to be super honest in my concept. I try always to bring my own vegetables to Pachamama. Before the pandemic, all the vegetables that we work inside Pachamama, 100% organic and come from my garden.
Wow.
But when the pandemic hit, I have to work so hard here that my garden is a mess.
Like,
So now that I'm able to hire more people, I can come back to the garden
uh,
and start harvest and planting, of course, and harvesting again. But yes, we
great.
have our own organic garden in Pachamama. Everything is super healthy, focused, and yeah, we don't fry. We take proud in our food because it's homemade food. It's like
Right.
imagine your mom cooking for you. This is what Pachamama is. It's not. I don't. Also, I don't want to have a restaurant that I don't know how to explain. I believe in energies, Brad. I believe
Right.
that the people who works in my kitchen need to have the energy clean because, for example, this. If I fight with someone right in the street and I go to my kitchen and I start touching my vegetables, I honestly believe you guys will feel it,
hmm Yeah.
because
I
energy
mean,
is something that you transmit. And I want to transmit happiness in my food. And every morning here we bless our food. We light some Palo Santo. We try to have always a good vibe to cook, and we train our family because for me my employees are not employees. It's my family. It's part of my family
mm,
because I want for them to feel Pachamama vibe. I don't want to treat my team as maybe other corporation does. I am not that. I don't wanna be that. I want for everybody to feel part of Pachamama because
right.
Pachamama is for everybody. It's a community restaurant, and you need to
Yes.
feel that.
Well, I'll vouch for you. I mean, it's an experience, and it's definitely unique, and the food it looks like something that came from the garden. It's special, it's colorful, it's fresh. I grew up on a farm, so it kind of honestly, it kind of gave me chills because it takes you back to your childhood when we'd go out and dig up the carrots and cut off
Yeah,
the green peppers and take them inside and chop them up and eat them. I mean, it was definitely garden to
life,
fork.
right? The
Exactly.
beautiful life. That's
And you
everything, Brad.
forget. Yeah, you forget what it really could be like, and most people have never experienced that. So, where is your garden? At the restaurant right
Poway.
there? Oh, in Poway. Okay.
Poway. Yeah,
Okay.
Poway.
Great.
Yep,
Well,
yep.
so you have my recommendation. Definitely, you should give it a try. Um, I just think it's unique. It's an experience, and it's a beautiful restaurant. And So I want to talk a little bit about what you're doing with the schools, Adams Elementary School, and you're teaching the kids there to kind of do what you just said is important, and that's know where your food comes from, how to prepare it, how to grow it, and why it's important, and how it makes you feel and the energy.
Exactly. And for example, part of Pachamama, because I built Pachamama precisely for what happened many years ago. But for me, Pachamama is more than a restaurant brand because Pachamama has a mission in this planet. And the mission of Pachamama is build awareness. For example, we give part of our profit every month to a Human Society of San Diego. I choose Human Society of San Diego in the year 2018 to team up. Precisely, I went personally and I tell my story to the director, Gary. I tell the story of why I built Pachamama, why I believe we can be a perfect partnership because I admire the work of Human Society in the
Hmm.
animal welfare aspect. And we keep donating since 2018 till today, every month, and in my personal name, of course, as well. But Pachamama mission is what is more important to me because it's precisely the heart of our mission.
Great.
So
Well, that's
that's
good for
one of
me.
the things, yes.
I'm a
And
pet
the other,
owner, and I'm a big fan of the Humane Society and all
me
the
too.
individual. And we just actually did an article 3 or 4 months ago because celebrating Gary's new book. So in the
Yeah,
paper. So that's good for me to know. I'm a
yeah.
bigger fan now. So so tell us about the elementary school. What you're doing with them there.
Adams Elementary School is part of our mission as well. We are trying to build awareness, and one of the things that we came up with the team is why not build an organic garden for the kids? Because of course the kids is our future, and who best to take care of that than the kids, right? So we went to Adams Avenue, and they have four, I think, yeah, four huge spaces to build vegetables, and also they can use it for lunch, etc., etc. So
Hmm.
I meet up with Desi. Desi is the director of the Adams Avenue Elementary, and she opened the doors for us, and we keep working. I think this is the week numbers 5 that we keep working there, and we are so happy. We are building this organic garden for them, especially now because they are in vacation. So when
Hmm.
they come back from vacation, they can see
Right.
the vegetables grow. So yeah,
Aw.
that makes me so happy.
It sounds like fun. It sounds like a lot of fun. So we have a few minutes left. I want to talk about the bees.
Ooh,
Yeah, tell us
that's
about the
like
bees because
I'm crazy about that project with Travis Wolf. Yes, and Believe USA. So,
Travis
Pachamama's
Wolf,
mission.
Bee Leaf USA. So
Yes, we
just
team
so
up with
people hear
Believe
that.
USA and Travis
Okay.
Wolf. He's an amazing beekeeper who is doing a great job here in San Diego, trying to
I spoke
save,
to Travis, just so you know. Yeah.
yeah,
So,
trying to save all the bees. And I'm trying to help Travis to save the bees because,
yeah,
as everybody knows, without bees we don't have any food, guys. So
that's right.
please, let's take care of the bees of this San Diego. So we are building a bee sanctuary for research. It's a beehive inside the restaurant, so we can have our own honey and we can harvest our own honey and use it in our menus. Of course, it's part of our concept being super organic and try to harvest and have everything in a local way, right? So
Mhm.
what's better to have it in my own restaurant, right? And I'm
Exactly.
happy because we are working for over 6 months and we have the okay from Nathan Fletcher from the county, Scott Kessler is the president of Adams Avenue Elementary School. And yes, we are so excited and it's coming. I know Travis is building this and he will come one day and put my beehive in the middle of the restaurant so everybody can also learn because it doesn't end there. I want to go beyond just to for my customer or maybe the kids to see the bees working. I
Right.
want for them to inform yourself because it's what I didn't have when I was growing up. Eh,
Right.
right? I didn't have this awareness
Yep.
of knowing, oh, bees are really very important for us, for our own
Yes.
survival. I didn't have that. I didn't
Yep.
know about plastic. I didn't know about this. For example, in my restaurant, Brad, I have worms.
Wow. You
We
have worms.
compost. We
Okay.
compost in a restaurant. We compost with worms, as you
Wow.
listen right now. And we are trying to do our part in the planet as a business. And if we can do it as a business, imagine how easy it is for everybody in their homes, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it's all about nature and the miracles of nature, and some of us never appreciate or even know about the miracles of nature. So if you can do your little part or maybe a big part, uh, and food is a big part of nature, and they should be the two together things, right? Not separate
Together.
like a lot of times they are with fast food and that type of thing. So anyway, Vick Vanucci, Pachamama, I want to thank you so much for being with us. I wish you the best. It's life is full of struggles, and I know you've gone through a big one, and you're on your way out, and you're going the right direction, and you're doing things for kids, and you're doing things for nature, and really, what more can people ask? So I suggest you try Pachamama and come down and see Vic. And what's the address on Adams Avenue?
Okay, it's 3737 Adams Avenue, and I will be here waiting for all of you guys.
3737 Adams Avenue. It's very close between the 15 and the 805 on Adams Avenue, very close to the 15. And your website is Who is Pachamama, correct?
Exactly.
So go check out Who is Pachamama. I think you have your menu. It's a beautiful website. You have your menu and some more things about it. And I suggest you go over and check it out and meet Vic and Vic. Sorry, mispronounced it.
It's okay.
And thank you so much for being here today, Vic. I wish you well.
Brad, thank you for you. You are amazing. You are a
Thank you
human
so
that
much.
you are amazing, Brad. Thank you for being so good.
Well, I hope to see you soon. So that's our show. I want to say goodbye, and I want to thank our sponsors. I don't have my glasses on, so this is going to take a while. Attorney King, of course, Saquon Casino. Don't let me forget anyone. Indian Motorcycles of San Diego, IB Fitness, and Nikki Rottens from the beautiful IQ Podcast Studios in Coronado. This is Local Umbrella Live. Have a great day.